When we got there, we were told that they couldn't revive him.
What's your name?
Carly Bardfeld.
Carly Bardfeld. And what's your daddy's name?
Yeah.
Go get Daddy kissing.
I love you.
16 years ago, on Valentine's Day, I lost my hero, my dad. My dad was 41 years young when he suddenly passed away, and I was still an infant, only 14 months old.
Your father was very outgoing, who had lots of friends, and was very important to him and to his family. He played lots of sports. He played football, where he was the co-captain of his team. He played baseball. He played soccer when it was not football or baseball season, just to keep in shape. He was an outstanding athlete.
We used to call him Dr. Doolittle. That was probably the one thing that really stood out because he could talk to children like no other. A lot of our friends, when we were dating, already had children, and we'd get invited to all these birthday parties with little kids and stuff. The little kids would flock around him like little ducklings and follow him around everywhere. He had a way of talking and relating to children that it was just remarkable, that I knew he would be a great dad.
Sometimes he used to let me paint his nails, and we used to play dress up. And we also used to go to Miami Dolphins football games with my grandpa and with my Uncle Larry, and we had so much fun. He was also very family-oriented. I specifically remember times when all of my family would gather together and he would play with all the kids on the floor, and I would have so much fun with my dad and with my sister, and he used to carry her like a football. He was just a really cool dad, and very loving and supportive, and just always there for me.
Say, welcome to Carly's house. Can you say that?
Welcome.
His most favorite holiday was the 4th of July, where we would watch the fireworks, and every once in a while the kids would have sparklers and run around the neighborhood. It was a very, very joyous time, 4th of July.
My time with Skip was way too short. It's hard to imagine that somebody 41 years old leaves this world who's so fabulous.
My mom and my grandparents used to read me books and what it means to pass away, but I think I was just really confused and kind of lonely, and it was a really, really hard time in my life.
I was numb and I was in shock. It was devastating because it was absolutely the best time in our life. We had a 7-year-old little girl and we had a 1-year-old little baby girl. Everything was going great for us, and it was really hard to come from such a high to just such a place of devastation.
Hi. Hi.
Say hi, Daddy.
Hi, honey.
She's 10 months
10 months. And how old are you? 12?
and a half.
Unfortunately, I was too young to understand or remember what was really going on. When I realized something was missing from my family, I always used to ask my mom, "Where's Daddy?"
It's a lot emotionally to be mom and dad, but there's definitely times when you just need a break. I had to keep going because I didn't want my children to fall.
In 3rd grade, I moved to a different school because my mom felt it would be better for me to be in a different environment, in a smaller environment, school setting. And I was immediately placed in a peer group called Banana Splits, and I was the only student who didn't have divorced parents. My parent had actually passed away. So it was really hard for me to relate to the kids who had 2 parents that just were experiencing a different type of loss. And it wasn't until I went to a peer group for children who've also lost their parents or loved ones, and that's when I really felt supported and really was experiencing growth.
Fortunately, my family found a way to keep going. We discovered a safe place where we could come together to grieve, a safe place where we could come together to heal.
Even though we know that grief lasts a lifetime, we know that this doesn't have to be necessarily a negative experience for kids ongoing. This experience of coming together at one of the most tragic times in your life with others who are going through something similar allows the kids not to feel alone, and the loneliness could be very destructive. But to be in a group with other kids who get it, to be with other adults who understand what you're going through, and be able to communicate that with one another, and to feel very safe while you're doing it, really makes a difference in their development.
You never get over the grief. The only thing is when someone passes, it gets a little easier each day. It never goes away, but the sad feeling is always there, and when different things come up and remind you of him, you do the best you can. But again, as time goes on, it eases up, but the grief never goes away.
Time is the only true healer. You have to stay positive, and you have to be kind to yourself. You have to try and keep yourself healthy mentally and physically, because it's so stressful on your mind and your body, and it's overwhelming, especially when somebody's young. It's a completely different loss. I mean, everyone has to go at some point, so somehow it's easier to internalize and handle when someone leaves on the natural order, but when someone leaves way too soon, it's really, really hard.
Sometimes think about the person who died and feel sad and cry, or maybe have moments where something comes up where they're missed terribly. But they also have an opportunity to take that inspiration from that person, that experience of living and loving that person, and have it become a part of their lives and move forward with that. And even for very young children who've had that experience, that person may still be influential in their lives as they move forward.
In the immediate loss of a loved one, I recommend keeping the person's memory alive. When my dad passed away, it was so important for me to talk to my sister about him, because my sister was only one when he passed away. And over the years, it's gotten a little bit easier, and she's been more receptive to talking about him. But it was really hard when she was young because she didn't know him. And so when I would tell her things, it was like a father figure that she just didn't know. And so now we bond over looking at videos and at pictures and talking about the different things we used to do as a family. And I think that's just the most important thing.
I kept busy. That was the most important thing. I spoke about my grief. Talk to people. Don't hold it in. That's the most important thing. Get it out. By holding it in and keeping it to yourself only destroys two people. Talking to other people, and you'll find out that other people may be in the same position as you or have gone through the same thing. And you just do the best you can, that's all.
Dad, we may live far apart, but we share the same sky, and you're in my heart always.
Say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.